Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Talk Wrestling here on the Jeff Meacham Network, on the NoDQ.com channel, on the Greg Cherry brand, the Cleaver Colin Andrews channel, and the Simple Man Noah Foster's channel. I'm all over the damn place today. I love it. I love the simulcasting that's taking place between our channels. It warms my heart to know that we've come this far in such a short amount of time when you think about how crazy this year's been. So I appreciate everybody involved allowing me to simulcast, and I appreciate everybody watching across the channels. We've got viewers from a couple different channels, so thank you very much. I first of all wanted to take the time real quick to thank the WWE Shop shipping department for getting this to me as quickly as they did. God, I think blue light's coming on. I'm so sorry. I appreciate that. I have my Survivor Series 30th anniversary Undertaker shirt, so I appreciate that very much. Thank you, WWE Shop. And again, to the seller on eBay, I can't remember your name. I'm sorry. I'm an asshole for that, but my apologies. Got my Undertaker ensemble ready to go. Very happy with that. So thank you all very much. All right. So it's been a crazy week, right? It's definitely been one of those weeks around here for sure. If you've been following along with me, I appreciate that. It's been quite chaotic out here thanks to the high winds and SoCal Edison rearing their ugly head. It's been shitty. I had to miss Monday. Tuesday's Sat Boy Sports Bar was a train wreck. Not Mikey's fault at all. Just a lot of issues with that show. And then we went off Wednesday with the Greg Cherry show right here. Me back in my chair. So again, I appreciate everybody being here. I know it's early. I know it's 5 o'clock back on the East Coast and 2 o'clock for you West Coast kids. And I'm sorry. So if you're watching on demand, thank you also. I greatly appreciate that as well, because I know it's early and some of y'all are still at work. So I appreciate you watching later as your day and your weekend goes on. Again, I thank you. Not really gonna. I know I put on the cover here. I put the different screen captures from the various things that happened this week on television, but I'm not going to go too deep into it. Of course, at the top of the show, we pay tribute to Zeus, Tiny Lister, who passed away yesterday at the age of 62, which again ages me and many others. If you didn't know Tiny Lister from being Zeus, you knew him as Debo in the Friday movies. Of course, my boy JJ and everybody else associated with Casa remembers him for that mainly. And of course, he was in The Dark Knight, which I love the Batman movies, especially the Dark Knight trilogy. I remember him fondly in that role as the head prisoner, if you will, the one that ultimately decided the fate of their ferry with throwing the detonator out the window. So that was a cool role for him. He's in a lot. He's kind of done everything. And chronologically speaking, if I want to get nerdy here for a minute, he is technically chronologically the very first Klingon in the history of Star Trek. If you think about where Enterprise falls into the timeline of Star Trek, the very first thing you see on that show is the scene with him as a Klingon. So he is in a major place in history for us Trek dorks. So again, Tiny, Mr. Lister, rest in peace. I'm not going to pretend the stuff with Zeus wasn't kind of a mess, but it was also fun to watch. So I appreciate that very much. And Nando says R.I.P. Zeus. So there you go. There is that. Cleaver, hello, sir. Again, I appreciate you letting me have your platform to perform on. Very greatly appreciated. Indeed, Kobe, give me the bicycle, of course, from the role of Debo in the Friday movies. So very cool. I like your avatar, by the way, too. The 10-time world champion Triple H after the Elimination Chamber back in 2005. Cool stuff. All right. So the main points of Raw. Let's go into the question here since it's here. The one like Hale Jacob says, do you think they'll make a new Friday movie now that Tiny, in honor of Tiny? Probably not. I mean, I don't know where the various performers in those movies are in their careers, but I don't see another Friday movie happening. But it is the era of remakes, reboots, redos, all that happy stuff. So never say never, especially in that franchise, because that franchise is huge. So don't be surprised if we get another Friday movie based on Tiny's passing. So keep that in mind. So the main points of Raw that I took away from Raw were, of course, the whole Drew Sheamus thing continuing along, and they got into a fight and they made up, and beat the crap out of Pat Buck. But God bless Pat Buck. He's taking a beating this year, right? The poor bastard's just been just waylaid left and right. So good on him for taking it like a man, if you will. But yeah, we're definitely moving toward, I feel, Sheamus versus Drew soon. I would say probably around Royal Rumble would be my guess, because of course we have TLC coming up in a week and a half or so, a little over a week, I should say, with AJ challenging Drew in a TLC match. I don't foresee AJ winning the championship. I think they want to keep the title on Sheamus toward Mania. And I said this before he lost to Randy, and I said it when he regained it from Randy, that he's going to be the champion going into WrestleMania, whenever that may be. So yeah, that's my hunch. The other thing, of course, we saw the furthering of Orton versus Bray Wyatt / The Fiend. I loved the segment at the end with Orton against Bray Wyatt. And he turned into the Fiend. I thought very cool, pretty cool piece of wizardry, if you will, magic tricks, whatever you want to call it. Caleb, I did mention this during my tribute to Tiny, that he wasn't Dark Knight, and I very much praised his role in that movie. So yes, again, guys, got to be here when the show starts, because I go quick. I move fast. And yes, Colin, I do have your question in the queue right over here, so stand by. I'll put it up momentarily. I want to get through the brief recaps and everything. Tuesday and Wednesday, of course, were the big days of the week. You had Impact and AEW doing the whole crossover thing with Kenny and Don, and it was it never really got a whole. I mean, I wasn't expecting a resolution to the story, don't get me wrong, but the whole big announcement thing kind of came and went with Kenny on Wednesday. So we're definitely going to have to look forward to more of what's to come between the companies now that we have a definitive crossover taking place. Of course, Impact has their pay-per-view comes on January 16th, and AEW has theirs coming up in the month of February, I believe. So we're definitely going to see things develop. I firmly believe we're going to see a lot of crossovers, a lot of things taking place between the two companies. Like I've been saying for the last couple weeks, since this whole thing really got rolling, these companies have the opportunity to really give Vince a reason to go wee in his diaper, if you will, because it's huge. I mean, you got AEW and the money they carry, and Virtual called Tony Khan a mark. I'm not going to deny that, but Tony's a fan, and you've got people at Impact that are fans also that are running the company. So I cannot wait to see what takes place between both companies. I think it's going to be awesome. Cannot wait to see how it all goes down. And of course, Karrion Kross returned on NXT Wednesday, so that's cool. And he attacked Damian Priest, so we've got a thing moving there between the two. Things are taking place, and I was hi, we're on the air, we're live, pal. I noticed there was a tweet that went out there that was very interesting to me, and I'll get to that momentarily. Caleb says, I kind of want to see Omega versus Swan, Omega winning the Impact title, and Swan wins it back later. It wouldn't surprise me, Caleb, not one bit. Would not surprise me in the slightest if that takes place. So you may get your wish. But I did notice that, I forget who it was. I feel bad. I don't remember who it was. But somebody I follow on Twitter was very quick to point out that, yes, AEW did, in fact, defeat NXT again and almost hit that million mark. They were about 5,000 short. But Raw and SmackDown continually go over 1 million, 1.5, even 2 million. So if we're really considering this a promotional war, AEW is getting beat every week anyway because they're not defeating the flagships, Raw and SmackDown. Yes, they're beating NXT, but as we've all been very quick to point out in the last 2 years or whatever, NXT is still developmental territory for all intents and purposes. So for us to make our stand on AEW beat NXT, so what? Like, NXT is a great brand. It's my favorite WWE brand, and I've said that from the beginning. But SmackDown is the place to be. And they're doing consistently over 1 million on Fox every week. Raw's up in the 2 millions on Monday nights on USA. So for us to even, I harken back to the quote by Eric Bischoff saying that, for anybody to think ECW was a solid number 2 behind the WWF or WCW is very misled and very misguided, because AEW is not beating everything in WWE. They are beating NXT, but it kind of is what it is, right? So I don't see the need to perpetuate the notion that AEW is beating WWE on a regular basis. They're beating one brand, one show, but kind of is what it is there. Psycho Jet Black, thank you for your quote, sir. Why did Impact make Rich Swann look like a scrub? He tried to go to the parking lot when Kenny was there, but was stopped by a security guard. Yeah, I wonder if that was to kind of show how big a star Don Callis thinks Kenny Omega is, because Don's got stroke with Impact. He's there, one of their EVPs. So I don't think it was more. I don't think it was Swan being shown as a scrub. I think it was more of Don Callis showing his pull within Impact Wrestling. So I'm trying very hard to not look at the negatives of these. There's definitely potential negatives, but there's a lot more positive upside to all of this than and I hope that it continues down that path. All right. So the first question that I got on Twitter for today's show before we went on the air came from my good buddy, the Cleaver Colin Andrew, and he says, and I quote, let me just go ahead and get everything set up here. He says, what if Eric Bischoff never fired Sean Waltman from WCW and he was never there in the WWF to join Degeneration X? Who would have been his replacement, and how would this have affected the overall Monday Night War? I like that question. I just, I hesitate a lot of times to do these what ifs because hindsight is very much easy to adopt. I don't want to say 2020 because 2020 has been a shit-tastic year. So anything being 2020 is a danger zone, right? So, I don't know really who could have been that guy. And you have to remember something, Colin. Sean Waltman was only available because he was basically let go more as an example to Scott and Kevin, because Eric was trying to rein them in, as it were. Right? Back on the company merch. There you go. So there's that. Again, thank you to Baby Shop for helping me out with the Taker wardrobe. I appreciate it. Sean Waltman was let go from WCW because of, in a lot of people's opinions, Scott and Kevin's attempted influence on the company. So I don't know if he would have been let go if that was the case. So based on that, I would say I don't know who the replacement would be, but I will say this. If Six hadn't come over and become X-Pac in 1998, I don't know if DX really would have survived and I dare say thrived, because it really did. It thrived with Waltman and the Outlaws. Having the Outlaws was almost a given. Like, they were being groomed for that role anyway. If you look back in 1997 and into early 98, when the Outlaws took out the Road Warriors, you see Sean kind of not a bad way to go. So I think they were being groomed to join DX regardless of what took place at WrestleMania 14. But again, having said that, I will say that it would not surprise me in the slightest if DX would have floundered without the crossover. Now, that's not to say that DX wouldn't have done well without Sean Waltman. I don't know who could have been that replacement person, either to fill in that was already with the company or that would have crossed over from WCW. Shawn Michaels was hurt. He was going to be on the shelf. We found out later it would be ultimately 4.5 years before he returned. The Outlaws were still there. China was still there. So I don't know if they would have even replaced or had somebody come in instead of Sean Waltman. I think he was a chance opportunity for the WWF to get him when they did. I think they would have honestly gone on without him and done Hunter, China, and the Outlaws and seen where it went. So to answer your question 45 minutes later, I don't think there would have been a replacement for Sean Waltman. I think he was the unintentional, oh my God, he's available, let's get him back. So there you go. All right, 20 minutes in, I'm ready horse, or feeling horse, if you will. So let me go ahead while I'm thinking about it right now and get my plugs in, because I don't see any new questions coming in here in a minute. So let me go ahead and get those plugs in now before I forget. My buddy Alexandria the Red, my wonderful friend, the cosplayer, she put out a new set today in a beautiful velvet dress. Let me see if I can get the actual name up here so I don't speak out of turn here. Let me. Let's see. Yeah, it's a velvet dress from Belle Poque, Poque. I apologize if I butchered that name. They put her in this. It's a beautiful red velvet dress. I can't recommend the photo shoot enough. Can't recommend her account enough. She is wonderful, and she's a friend of the show. She's a friend of mine, and I definitely recommend her. Our buddy Laura over in the UK. I can't show her stuff on this. A lot of it's not safe for work. A lot of Alexandria is not safe for work either. But she has a paywall. So as does Laura here on OnlyFans.com/Laura Sens fan. So check her out. We're on the Cleavers YouTube channel, as you see there at the bottom, youtube.com/Cleavers. Check him out, nodq.com/Colin. There's our boy Colin. My friend Lisa, my dear sweet Lisa, who I've known for a decade now. She's one of my favorite people ever. Follow her on Twitter at Angel Lisa Marie 2. And I don't know. I keep forgetting to put Big Baller G's Twitter up here, but NoDQ_ Big Baller G for Mr. G. So check him out there as well. All right. So Kyle says, hey, Jeff, do you see any similarities between DX and the Undisputed Era? Yes and no. I mean, I definitely see where Adam Cole could be compared to Shawn Michaels. He's training Shawn Michaels. So there's definitely something there for sure. And you've got the Red Dragon and the Outlaws. And of course you've got Roderick Strong and X-Pac, or Roderick Strong and Shawn Michaels, or, things like that. But I don't know if, I'm very hesitant a lot of the times to compare old versus new, DX, Undisputed Era, NWO, whatever, all those, they're all different. It's different factions for different eras. So yes, they do have similarities, but I don't know if we could really make a fair comparison, right? So, but there's every faction has similarity. Every faction dates back to, the Horsemen, if you really think about it, and they were a solid four. So it all ties back to them, right? So. Caleb says the Good Brothers versus Young Bucks on an episode of Impact Jar Ratings. I'm all right with that. You got the tag team champions facing each other. That sounds good to me. And plus, they're great tag teams. Anaheim Duck Sucks says, what is the rarest match you've ever seen live? I went to an NXT house show in LA in 2016 and saw Bobby Roode versus Kota Ibushi. Wow. I tried to find if they've ever had a match before and came up empty. I went to a NXT show at the end of 15 that was out in Bakersfield. God help me. But nothing really. I mean, nothing really. Where I mean, yeah. Remember, I've been doing this for so long that things don't seem like rare to me anymore. I did, however, I will say this. At one house show in June of 91, I saw a Desert Storm match, which wasn't rare in the grand scheme because they did it all over the country with Hulk and Sergeant Slaughter, and also the infamous body bag match, which didn't go past 91. Between Warrior and The Undertaker. So those two were definitely rare. I wouldn't want to see those again, especially the body bag match. Just it's creepy. The Desert Storm match kind of was what it was. You know, it's lame, but it's a good gimmick for the Hulk Slaughter feud. Cycle Jet Black says, would you rather see Home Alone 3 or Goldberg versus Reigns WrestleMania? Home Alone 3 on loop. Home Alone 3 on loop over anything Goldberg ever again. I was encouraged to not be a shithead about Goldberg on Wednesday on the Greg Cherry Show, and I'm going to continue to do that. But I will simply say that I am very upset he's back, and he's teasing this match with Roman. I know we were supposed to get the match at WrestleMania, and that's good for them. I don't care to see Goldberg ever again in any capacity in a wrestling world whatsoever. So, a wrestling role, excuse me. Michael says, thoughts on WWE sending Keith Lee and others to the PC because of their working ability? Again, you know, it's hard for me to judge because I am no athlete. I am not a good judge on that front. I know that if I'm having a problem with guys that I want nurtured, I want to push down the line, and I'm seeing their work rate is not where I want it to be, I'm definitely sending them to the PC for training under these great guys like Adam Pearson and Drew Gulak. So I definitely had no issue with that. I have an issue with it being brought up as news. I'm not blaming you, Michael, so don't think I am. I don't think it's, you know, any of our business really who is going for training, who is, you know, this role behind it. It's as long as I get my 3 hours or hour and a half on Hulu on Mondays or Tuesday mornings, my 2 hours on Wednesday and my 2 hours on Friday, I could care less who's training these guys. As long as they look good and they're doing well in their role, I'm fine. And if that is a issue that fans feel the need to know about, good for them. I don't really care one way or the other about knowing that type of information. I really don't. And I don't think it's fair that any of us, honestly, that any of us do as well. So there's that. All right. Let's see where we're at here. There we go. Hello, D. Ross. What up, sir? Good to see you. Always a pleasure. Kyle says, I went to Money in the Bank 2019 and saw Rollins versus Styles and loved it. Okay, well, good. Money in the Bank's a great match. I've never seen a Money in the Bank match live, for what it's worth. I was not at WrestleMania 21 when they had it, the very first one, and I haven't been live for one since. That's one of the things I do want to see before all is said and done. I want to see one of those live before I call it a fandom, you know? Caleb says the Motor City Machine Guns versus Jericho and Hager live on Dynamite. If it's been confirmed, great. I don't really see Chris and Jake as a tag team, but okay. Chris Goldsmith says best ladder match in history, WWE history. For me, it was. I didn't mute it. Sorry, I meant to. My bad, guys. I meant to mute that. Best ladder match WWE history. Mine was HBK and Razor. Hard to argue with that. I really, my favorite personally was not simply a ladder match. It was a triangle ladder match that ended up involving tables and chairs in the match itself at WrestleMania 2000 between the Hardys, the Dudleys, Edge, and Christian. That was the first ladder match I saw, to my knowledge, in person. I'm pretty sure, it was definitely my first ladder match I saw live. So that was cool. I love Hunter and Rock at SummerSlam '98. That was a great ladder match. But my favorite is the triangle ladder match for sure. But I honestly think the best one is, as you said, HBK versus Razor. And I think it's honestly HBK Razor at SummerSlam '95. I think that was a better match personally. D Ross 2 says, "Got to talk to you about the video game project." Oh yes. Okay, that's good because I want to actually. It's coming up soon, New Year's Day, so I definitely want to take a look at that. So do me a favor, D Ross, hit me up on some sort of direct message, be it Twitter, be it Facebook, be it Instagram. Just let me know in advance what you need from me, and we'll take care of it. Okay. I do appreciate you doing that. It has not been forgotten. It's just there's a lot of shit going on, and I didn't think about it only because I was thinking about 25 other things. So I do apologize for that. Thank you. Kyle says Edge versus Jeff Hardy at Extreme Rules. Sure, that was a good ladder match too. I think that's more remembered. That's more remembered for the cash-in afterwards, but it was a great match for sure. Caleb says, "What are your dream matches in this AEW versus Impact storyline?" Again, I'm not going. I don't know if we're going to get a whole lot of those. You mentioned something earlier, guys. Machine Guns versus FTR. You've mentioned Bucks versus the Good Brothers. Those type of matches. So I'm and of course Omega versus Swan. Again, it's not a dream match. As far as not like dream match people, but again, it's there's a lot on the table. Chris says, "I'll never forget the Hardcore Battle Royal at WrestleMania 2000." Neither will I. That was a interesting thing to experience in person, Chris. I tell you, that was. We just, a lot of it took place backstage. We get to see a lot of it out in the arena, but it was something. And the finish was such horse shit. It's so bad. But it was fun. It was definitely a lot of fun. I'll definitely give it that for sure. Psycho Jet Black says, "Would you rather see the Astros win the World Series or the Jaguars win the Super Bowl?" The Jaguars. Easily the Jaguars win the Super Bowl. Without question. I would, if the Astros never won a game again, it'll be too soon. Cheating bastards. Kyle says, "What about Moxley versus Callahan?" There you go. John Moxley versus Sami Callahan. I just would love to see those two unleashed on one another. Just amazing. The potential for crazy is definitely on the table there when you've got a guy who, when he was in the Indies, was just psycho, and then you've got another one, Sami Callahan. Both these guys have been notoriously completely batshit crazy, just horrible to their opponents, to each other, to themselves. So I cannot wait to see if that match does happen. I'm all about it. Go for it. Yes, good stuff. But yeah, getting back to the Astros winning the World Series or the Jaguars, I don't have a problem with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't mind. The Jaguars aren't on my team shit list team in the NFL. I don't have a problem with them at all. I don't. But I have a huge problem with the Houston Astros. Huge problem with the Houston Astros. By and large, they are a bunch of cheating bastards. He also says Jazz versus Hikaru Shida. Again, I'm not a huge fan of Hikaru Shida, but I definitely I love Jazz. I think Jazz is grossly underrated in the grand scheme of wrestling companies. So I am all about Jazz getting a chance to face top talent, including Hikaru Shida. So go for it. Mr. Yak, my boy Chris says Ethan Page is apparently a free agent. Any speculation? No speculation because I didn't know anything about it. I try very hard not to speculate on the news because news is what it is. So it's all it is speculation. So we don't. I feel we don't need to know contract goings on until we see somebody on TV debut for another company. So if he is a free agent, great. I hope he comes and whoops ass wherever he goes. Caleb says Rosemary versus Thunder Rosa. Yeah, I'll be all right with that. I like them both. I do. So I love me some Thunder Rosa. We all know that. So just definitely would be down for seeing her and Rosemary do their thing on either show or a pay-per-view. That'd be great. Again, there's so many different combinations of people that we could get out of this interpromotional feud, interpromotional partnership that anything. I don't think anything necessarily could be bad that they would pop up, pair against one another. I think it would just be wait and see. So, and I'm sorry if I'm sounding scratchy. I am. It's my voice is very. I've been talking a lot this week. I've been on the phone with power people and internet people and all kinds of stuff. Easy for me to say. So, yeah, I've been kind of all over the place this week. So I apologize if I sound scratchy. It's because I am, because my throat is killing me. I did invite several people into the room today, so hopefully they will come in at some point. I told them it was between 5 and 7, so hopefully it won't be too close to 7, because I'd like to be done sooner rather than later. All right, so let's turn off Saved by the Bell, because I'm getting distracted by the goings on. Come on. There we go. All right. Let's see. Should Ring of Honor get involved in the AEW storyline with Impact? I don't know if that would benefit the other two. I mean, Ring of Honor definitely has a sour taste on it right now, but they had a great tournament to crown a new pure champion. So if they get the right people involved, the right crossover talent, go for it. Why not? Again, there's so much great talent in wrestling right now. Now that we're kind of not really opening things back up to the fans, but we're opening things up as far as the competitors are being allowed to wrestle one another and they're being allowed to do their thing. I say get as many people involved in this partnership as possible. But make sure everybody stays in check. Make sure everybody stays humble and smart about what they do when they do it, and not just put themselves over or put their guys over. Because it's very easy to put Impact over when you're the Impact vice president, or AEW over when you're booking Tony Khan. So it's very they have to find that happy medium in order to sustain the partnership, in order to sustain the push against WWE. Now, we do note, and I'm gonna make it very clear here, that both of these shows are on nights where the WWE flagships are not broadcast. So let's be clear on that. Impact and AEW are on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. AEW Dark is also on Tuesdays. So I don't think that's on accident. I think that's by design. I think Impact definitely learned their lesson going against WWE on Monday nights. They got throttled the brief time they went up against one another in 2010. So if I'm both companies, what I do, and again, this is me fantasy booking, which I'm not a huge fan of most of the time. I did the one thing that I was asked to do, which is fine. I would stick with my, do what Paul Lee always did with ECW with his array of talent and technical folks. Accentuate the positives, hide the negatives. You've got a tremendous amount of talent on both those rosters with AEW and Impact Wrestling, and the potential for not dream matches, but great quality interpromotional rivalries or matches even by themselves is exponential. It's that good. I'm not trying to exaggerate or sound braggadocious or silly when I say that. I'm dead serious when I say that. Both these companies have a huge roster of great talent that can do great things if allowed to do so. And if they stick to that and decent stories to weave them together, they have an opportunity to really make something of this whole thing. Michael says, have you ever seen the heel Vince McMahon segments in Memphis during the early to mid 90s? Very interesting to see him as a heel before WWF. Yes, I have seen the McMemphis stuff. It's interesting to see Vince be the guy, like be the bad guy. It's a cool, it's a weird dichotomy to see Vince in his his posh announcer suits with the big shoulders as as Vince McMahon, the evil guy trying to take down the King of Memphis. It's very weird. Look it up on YouTube. It is good stuff. Mick Memphis, McMemphis. Look it up and make me later. Psycho Jet Black says, "What is the most insane wrestling spots or botch you ever saw live in person?" Good grief. Okay. I'm trying to think what I saw live. That was Jeff Hardy off the top of the ladder at WrestleMania 2000 was definitely crazy. Morrison with the ladder, using it to moonsault everybody else in Money in the Bank in 2024, WrestleMania 24. 2008 was an insane spot like you wouldn't even see. Not really a wrestling spot per se, but Stone Cold using the beer truck to blow away Santino Maria at Sable. I was there for that live. That was pretty crazy. I was in the control room with Sonny or Tammy Sitch, whatever, and a few others watching a hardcore death match with barbed wire ropes. That was insane, just on principle. It was gross. Literally, Tammy and I were taking turns dry heaving. It was that disgusting. Just terrible. I mean, I'm in a bad match, but I'm 20 years old. I haven't seen that kind of shit yet, so it's weird for me. Crazy. That was almost 20 years ago. Anyway, it's just I've been to so many shows over the years. It all kind of blends together after a while. There were some crazy things I saw in PWG back when they were still in their infancy. Just I have to do a whole show on that, honestly, because there's so many things. I to be honest, I don't remember quite a bit of them because my brain's been so rattled over the years that I don't remember everything I've seen. Unfortunately, everything kind of just goes by the wayside, which is unfortunate. But kind of is what it is, as they say. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm reading text here left and right, so forgive me. That and don't need that. Okay, very good. Okay. So yeah, again, there's been so many. I have to go through like the cards I've seen and kind of go, okay, what was that? What was that? Okay, I was there for that. I was there. So I don't remember what I was there for and what I wasn't. So I forgive me for the shitty answer, but that's how it is. Good afternoon, Todd. Good to see you along for the ride, sir. Sorry you missed the first 40 minutes, but again, I made the time change pretty clear today, and the day again, one-time thing on Fridays for Talk Wrestling. Just Monday was a shit show with our power being shut off, the internet being shut off, so I wasn't able to do the show, and then it's kind of been busy all week. So this is the first time I've had to do it. So, yeah. So I appreciate everybody being here on a Friday. I know Friday afternoons, Friday evenings are usually busy because people are trying to get off work and trying to get their shit squared away for the weekend. So again, I appreciate it greatly that you guys are here. It is not forgotten by any means, and not underappreciated in the slightest. What up, Big G? Good to see you, brother. Again, if you want to hop in, by all means, the links in the group chat on Facebook, brother. So stand by there. Mr. Yuck says, "How?" Oh, you're still at work. Okay, very good, Big G. Mr. Yuck says, "How should the WWE Women's Division be built from Rumble to Mania?" Goodness, there's a loaded question. You got to think Becky's in there somewhere at some point. I mean, I know she just had the baby, and people were, oh, when she come back, it's like she'll be back by the Rumble. I don't think, but you got to think Becky's going to be there. You got to think that Charlotte's going to be back by then. I would honestly put. I still put Sasha and Bailey somewhere in that main event spot, somewhere along there. This guy experience, I did mention Tiny Lister earlier. It was the first thing we did. I did the 10 bell. So again, I have to go back and watch that back. Didn't talk very much about it. Kind of just went through it. Anyway, Mr. Yuck, you got to think the Horsemen are going to be involved. There's a rumor, and it's all rumor at this point, that Ronda's coming back. But again, I think Ronda Rousey's better served for a crowd being there. Although, I said that recently, and then I thought about it after I said it, and it's like, well, the reason we don't have Ronda is because of the crowd. I mean, right? If we think about it, she kind of got a tick loose when the crowd here at Staples Center turned on her. So maybe a no crowd Ronda is the best way to go to bring her back. I mean, yeah, you won't get the huge pop that a contract of hers warrants, right? But again, maybe it's not the worst thing because there won't be a crowd to shit all over. So there is that. I'm not sure what JJ is sending me here. I don't know what this is. JJ, if you're in the chat room, let me know what you're sending. I see Drew and Hunter, but I don't see what the significance of it is. So forgive me. Yeah. Anyway. So again, you got to figure the Horsewomen. I think Ronda will be back. Lana is definitely being groomed for something. What, I don't know, but time will tell. What we see with Miss Rousey and with Lana and with everybody that's potentially going to be involved. I don't have a problem with Lana being a focal point of the division as long as she is actually getting better in ring wise. We're not very kind to her on social media, and that's unfortunate. And I try very hard to not be that person when it comes to anybody, unless they've warranted a shot of venom from me. Let me be clear on that, because some people have. But I don't know how they're going to do that. So we'll see how things go with the women's division. I hope we get Ronda back. I hope Lana's still a thing. I hope we get the Horsewomen back. I hope we get everybody back that needs to come back. And we need to honestly show the rest of the world why their women's division is the best and why they got the best wrestlers. Caleb says, how about Crazy Steve versus Broken Matt Hardy again, along with Rosemary and Crazy Steve's corner and Rebby and Matt's? I could deal with that, Rebby being on TV. I mean, I'm not a fan of her personally, and I don't know Rebby. I've never met her. Don't really care to. Her personality just bugs the crap out of me every time I see her on Twitter. So I'd rather not have her anywhere near TV for a lengthy period of time. And with Matt, again, I'm a Matt Hardy. I'm a Hardy Boys fan for the most part. I could do without some of the extreme bullshit they do, both of them. Matt is just trying. I feel my opinion, my show. Jeff Meacham Network, right there. There you go. I don't feel that Matt needs to be taking the extreme risks anymore. So. D-Ross says, thoughts on the passing of Zeus and why do you think he's in the Hall of Fame? I'm not sure why Tony's not in the Hall of Fame yet, other than I can't imagine him having a grievance with the company where he wouldn't be involved. I haven't heard anything about him being in a lawsuit with him or anything, so I don't know why the reason is. As far as his passing, it's very unfortunate. From what the reports say, he caught a wind of the COVID for the second time this year and just couldn't fight it again. I don't know if that's the case, but any kind of death is unfortunate. It really is. It's a very, very hard thing to deal with in life, business, and friendship. And I loved the Tony Lister. He was great in Dark Knight. I said recently, it was like 10 years ago, but in the last decade, when they were already, in theaters many, many times over and on home video many times, I was introduced to the Friday series by JJ and the Casa, and I love the movies. They're fucking hysterical. And Debo Tiny was great in those. So definitely it's an unfortunate thing. And, him and Macho Man, against Hogan and Beefcake was the stuff of legends. It really was. It was good stuff. So there you go. Mr. Yuck says, any Rumble favorites, special appearances? Again, you got to think Becky or Charlotte's on that list, right? Those are two top for me, along with Ronda. Again, those three would honestly be up there for me as far as people coming in. D Ross 2 says, how do you think they're going to do the Rumble in the COVID era? Because you can't have a bunch of people in the ring at the same time. Have less than 10 guys in the ring at once. I mean, it sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but it really is that simple. Have less guys in the ring. Don't have all 30 guys in the ring at once, or 20, or 50. Keep it under 10. Both genders, male and female, keep it under 10 at a time, and you're good to go. Psycho Jet Black says, do you think that Edge is in the top 20 of the greatest W superstars in history? Oh, well, let's go through it. Hogan, Austin, Rock, Hunter, Undertaker, Andre, Backlund, Bruno, Cena. God, how horrible is that? Randy Orton. Yeah, I would say just top 20. I would say it's a fair place for him is in the top 20. I don't know. We're in the top 20. I'm not going to go there, but I definitely see that for sure. Kyle says, I'm not sure if you've talked about this, but was wondering what your thoughts on Eva Marie possibly returning. I'm about looking forward to this as much as I am Goldberg coming back, and that's only because she's actually hot. Like, I'm not going to mince words. I'm not going to sugarcoat that shit. She's freaking terrible. She was one of the worst they ever had, and her attitude sucked, and I just want her not to be around. She's terrible. Sorry, and if I'm a dick for saying it, I'm a dick. Whatever, I really don't care. It's been one of those weeks I don't give a shit anyway. She's awful. She makes Lana look like Medusa. She does. She's bad. So there. This guy says, damn, if you relate to the party on the Friday series, another great star that won't be in the last all. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's right. They are making another Friday movie, aren't they? I just remembered you said that. Thank you. They did announce another Friday movie. I don't know if they've already made it, if it's a thing, if it's in the can yet, if Debo was in it. So good call. I forgot all about this guy. So thank you very much. Okay, so far this guy said two things that are just obnoxious. So you're getting a timeout, mister. You just are. I'm not dealing with it. Anyway. So, all right, I'm going to text Jay back here because I'm not sure order. What am I supposed to be seeing here besides Hunter and Drew? ? Sorry, guys. All right. Mr. Yuck says, do you foresee attending live events once they begin again, rather wrestling, hockey, or such? Yes, definitely. Like, I cannot get back to my seat in Staples Center soon enough for hockey. I got my Ontario Reign. I also want to go to a Reign game. I've never been to an Ontario Reign game, and they're not abysmally far away from me. Right, they're farther than Staples, yes. But yeah, I would love to go to a Reign game and a Kings game again, and definitely live wrestling. Good grief, I hate that we don't have any live wrestling right now. I hate and live sports. The Dodgers won a freaking World Series. I didn't go to a single Dodger game this year. Ain't that a bitch? So yeah, I'm all about it. The vaccine's out and everything. That's great. I am totally okay with socially distanced sports seating. If I had the money to A, fly, and B, fly safely, I'd be at AEW Dynamite tapings or recordings or live, whatever you want to call those. I would be there for those. Because those look like so much fun, and I just want to sit there and belt out, horribly off-key Judas singing with everybody else, right? Because it looks like so much fun. So, yeah, I definitely want to go. I can't wait for live things to resume. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you asking me that. Yeah, very much looking forward to it. While I'm on the subject of, okay, well, let's see here. Okay, cool. He's showing me where he is in the Rumble. Okay. Okay. Weirdest feud ever from Michael Gonzalez. There's some weird things over the years, but you know what still is weird to me to this day, and never really got 100% resolved because he got let go. The Warrior and Papa Shango. That was some weird shit. Where Papa Shango cursed the Warrior, and he had the stuff coming out of his forehead, and he barfed on people, and the different jobbers got cursed. It was just a very, very weird. Even for 1992, it was very, very weird. Again, just bizarre, and I would like to have seen a resolution of that. And of course, we've got Charles Wright, who's in the Hall of Fame now as the Godfather, and the Warriors in the Hall of Fame, and he has passed away. So we'll never really know where that was supposed to go other than what Godfather tells us. And I've learned in talking to the Godfather that he doesn't always tell the truth. So, not trying to disparage people's character, just going off experience. So there you go. Chris says, I happen to work at one of the very few hockey-oriented / themed bars in mid-Wisconsin. If ever in the neck of the woods, by all means, mention. Well, I appreciate that, Chris. Thank you. I will definitely, if I'm ever passing through Wisconsin, I will definitely check that out. It's a very unlikely thing, not because I don't like traveling, because I do. It's just not on my radar to go, but doesn't mean I won't go. I mean, I never know where this crazy life is going to take me. I can end up, going to a Packers game at Lambeau for all I know, So you just never know with good old JM. The only thing for sure about JM is nothing for sure, or Sting would say. Ryan says, who do you see headlining WrestleMania? I think Roman is a lock for that spot, as is the WWE champion Drew McIntyre as of now. You'll definitely see them both in headline matches, and I think they're both going to be champions when we get to WrestleMania, wherever that may be, whether it's at Raymond James, whether it's at the Thunderdome, wherever it may be. So definitely going to see Roman in that spot. Definitely going to see Drew in that spot. Very likely going to see Goldberg, which sucks, but I can't do anything about it. So I just kind of have to just accept it and acknowledge it, not even if I don't embrace it. So there you go. Mr. Yuck says, is there a place in WWE Hall of Fame for a jobbers category? Jobbers, he says. With the quotes around it. Barry Horowitz is great. Iron Mike Sharp, Danny Davis, Brooklyn Brawler types all deserve some credit for making stars back then. Let's see. What rock question did you ask me? This guy. I apologize. Did I miss it? I don't see a question about the rock from you, this guy Experience, so I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see it. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, let's see here. As far as the jobber question, let me get back to that real quick, Chris. I've always been of the opinion that the Hall of Fame should be for the elite, the best of the best, the top in the business, the greatest of all time. But I'm also a realist in that if you keep it that elite for that long and you induct that many people at once, you're going to have a jobber or two. Coco beware. Danny Davis, I would think, definitely deserves a spot because he was a attraction as a heel referee turned wrestler. He belongs there. The Brawler definitely deserves it. Steve Lombardi deserves a section of the Hall of Fame for himself and all the shit he's done over the years, besides being the Brooklyn Brawler. But Mike Sharp, Barry, I don't think so. I can't endorse that my own self, but it doesn't mean WWE won't at some time, right? Let's see. Do you see big things for Big E from this guy's rants? I do, and I have for a while. I think he definitely has the potential to be a breakout star now that he's back on his own again. It took him a while to get here. He hasn't been on his own in almost 6 years, so hopefully that hasn't completely hindered him. Hopefully I'm wrong. D Ross 2 says, watch the YouTube clip of Canyon back in WCW, and I loved how he did the diamond cutter out of nowhere. Did you think Canyon was underrated? Yes, I do. I still do. Chris Canyon is one of the most underrated guys I've ever seen. And yeah, he got credit. He did indeed say that he was definitely one of those guys that was underappreciated, and not he took it way too far for granted. Hang on 1 second. I said from 5 until 7 your time. I'm on now. Ugly face. Okay. Yeah, Canyon was grossly underrated, very underappreciated. He did a lot of training of guys later on, and he definitely did a lot of work on Ready to Rumble. I know it doesn't. Well, Ready to Rumble wasn't very good. Ready to Rumble was way better than people give it credit for, as far as the wrestling itself. Like, I'm not kidding. It was that impressive. This guy says that Gilbert should be in the Hall of Fame. Character-wise, I agree. I think it was hysterical that Gilbert, got as much mileage out of it as he did. So I definitely see that. Tim Davis says, did you see the football Disney film biopic? I don't know what you're talking about, Tim. I have no idea what you're referring to there. Please help me out. MCW Wrestling says, what wrestling show did you think was the best this week so far? The ones I've seen, probably AEW or Impact, my opinion, again. So Stephen Clark says, when was the last time you remember Roman Reigns losing clean? Holy shit. It's a good question. I want to say SummerSlam against Brock, which surprised everybody. It was crazy. Yeah, Brock Lesnar. SummerSlam that year, whatever year that was. I could see Big E possibly winning the Royal Rumble this year, says Kyle. Sure, wouldn't surprise me. Ryan says, will the Rams go far in the playoffs? I hope so. I like the Rams, so sure. That they're not my team per se, but I do hope they do well. And I hope they get far, but I'm supporting for the Cowboys till they're out. So we'll see how the last 4 weeks shake out. Or 5 weeks, whatever it is. All right. So let me go ahead and get these out here real quick while we're waiting for more questions to come in. Happy birthday today, December 11th, 2020, to the following people. Rey Mysterio, who turns 46. Yes, Rey Mysterio's 46. For those of you that are older than Rey, sucks to be you. Little Cholo, my buddy from out here in the SoCal Indies, turns 38, which is mind-boggling to me that he's the same age as me. James Ellsworth, the very controversial former WWE superstar, turns 36. Sonny Kiss from AEW turns 27. And my buddy and yours, Rick Knox, referee, is timeless. I have no idea how old Rick is, so I'm just going with that. So happy birthday to all of you. We love you here at the WWE Network, all of you. Yes, you, even you, James. So there you go. The film is called Safety. I've never seen that film, and I have never seen it. D Ross 2 says, I know you are a sports fan. Thoughts on the spinoff of Dark Side of the Ring, but with the 90s and football? That could be heavy. That could be heavy shit for sure. I'd be interested to see it. Anthony Eric says, what do you think about the Bucks? I'm indifferent. I have friends that like Tampa Bay. I don't really care. I mean, they're having a decent, they're going back and forth on whether they play well or not. So, and I'm trying very hard to not hate on Tom because I realize that my dislike of Brady often connects with the fact that he was with New England. So I'm okay with them for now. First of all, Caleb, stop. You don't need to type all caps, brother. It's okay. It's all right, man. I'll hear you. I hear you from here. Relax. Do I ever see the Body Night going to the Hall of Fame? I definitely see Chris Candido and Tom Pritchard in the Hall of Fame at some point. As a Badianas, no. I think that was a horribly conceived gimmick for everybody. Just terrible. Tim says, do you think the Packers will do well in the playoffs? Again, I don't follow a lot of the teams outside of the Cowboys and LA, so I don't know. The Packers are always in the hunt, I think, right? And I'm sure Adam Pearce will be mad at me for not being a Packers follower, but it's fine. So I would be okay with the Packers being there because I have liked the Packers in the past. They wear the same colors as my old high school, which is where I got my love of them in the first place. So why not? Why the heck not? James says, despite your position on the Patriots, much love and respect to you. I appreciate that, James. I know I'm hard on the Patriots. And I don't feel that's undeserved. But I do appreciate not having the venom toward me myself. I do appreciate that very much because I respect the hell out of you, and I love what you did for the No DQ Instagram initially, and for getting the ball rolling on my Micha Mania shirts, which I again adore that I have those shirts. So thank you, James. I'm sorry, God, like I said, I'm getting really bad dry throat, so if I start to lose it, I apologize. I'll see if I can get some water here. I don't have anything handy, of course, because I'm not prepared. I'm a terrible podcaster. This guy Experience says, do you think Hardcore, Crash, or Molly going into the Holly going in the Hall of Fame? Yes, all three of them. I think Molly Holly definitely deserves it. Molly is one of those underappreciated female wrestlers that definitely gets far less credit than she deserves overall with her whole body of work. Crash, again, we had Crash on the show. We love Mike Lockwood, man. He's great. But I'd love to see Crash all. And Hardcore Holly, yeah, people consider him a bully, and he was kind of a hard ass and whatever, but he definitely has a spot. He was around for a long damn time and played through a lot of shit, man. That Thurman Sparkplug Holly bullshit was terrible. Just a Thurman Sparky plug. Where the fucking there's the F word. Sorry, Aaron. That friggin' gimmick was just the shits, just terrible. So all three of them definitely deserve a Hall of Fame spot, no question about it. I realize the Patriots cheat MCW, but I'm trying very hard to not focus on them during my wrestling segments. I talk about them on Tuesdays with Mikey and on Wednesdays with Greg if they come up in our football discussion. But I'm not a Patriots fan. I'm never going to be. As long as they have Belichick at the helm, I am not going to be a fan of those guys. So they want to fire Bill. That's then we'll talk about restructuring my fandom. So there you go. All right, let's see what we've got here that I haven't talked about yet. Oh yes, the merchandise. Must plug the merchandise always. Let's get rid of that damn banner here for a minute. There we go. Hi. So you can find all of these shirts you see here in front of you, including the shirt I'm wearing today, which I'm sure you saw already, and more over from Greg Cherry. My buddy Greg Cherry and his awesome designing abilities over at teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network. Just a wonderful graphic designer. He's done our work for us the better half of this year, and the better part of this year, I should say. And his stuff is just awesome. I love, and the shirts at Teespring are very comfy. They're very they breathe well. So I was trying to say if I could talk. So yeah, definitely want to give them a look see for sure. So definitely check them out there over at Teespring, where you also find the different shirts, different shows that we do here each and every week, each and every day, weekday on the network. So stand by for that. NCW says your favorite hardcore Holly match. God, honestly, the Hardcore Battle Royal from 2000, just because I was there for part of it. I was there for it, and it was awesome to watch. That's the easy answer. That's a safe answer for me. Chris says, remember the Timothy Thatcher / Riddle match and the crazy Lions Den-like structure? Do you foresee more of these matches with or without Thatch as Thatch can? That guy is awesome, by the way, very Regal-esque. I actually liked the pit, the fight pit, whatever the hell they called it. That was a great gimmick. Not a fan of Riddles. Again, I've been quiet about that. But yeah, I'd love to see more of the fight pit matches, whether it's with Thatcher or whoever. I still say they're sitting on the freaking gold here, not teaming Thatcher and Gulak back up like they were out here in the United Wrestling Network and across those shows. So people are asking, what people asked the other day on the Greg Cherry show, where does Thatcher go since he's so boring? Gulak's kind of just there, and I think teaming those two up and having them have a serious tag team run is the way to go from my point of view. Caleb Jacobs says, do you ever see the Smoking Guns in the WWE Hall of Fame? This is hard because we kind of shit on Bart Gunn on the WQ reviews. I think that Bart Gunn definitely. I mean, Billy's already in because he was put in as part of DX, right? I don't know if Bart goes in on his own, because Bart Gunn on his own will always be the guy that got his head knocked around by Butterbean at WrestleMania 15, and that's his legacy, which is unfortunate because Bart is a decent performer. If they induct them as the Guns, maybe, but I don't foresee that happening either. So to shorten my answer, probably not. But I would love to be wrong there because I did enjoy their run, especially when they had Sonny with them. Because man, Sonny in those cowboy outfits, good grief, yum yum. I know that's silly, but oh well. This guy Experience says, I was on Hardcore Holly's side during the broadcast storyline. So was I, brother. So was I. Kyle says, do you think it's too late to see a potential Ronda versus Becky singles match? I do not. Because, well, okay, I said earlier that they should both come back. If they both come back, the money's there, right? The money's definitely there for them to have a singles encounter, a decent drawn out feud at that. So if both of them come back within the next year, since Becky's coming back from her maternity leave, make it happen. Otherwise, you're wasting money doing anything past now. This guy says, oh yeah, did you already cover it? Yes, I did cover the guys going back to the Performance Center. I did. Again, it's back there in the back, guys. MCB says, Gulak and Thatcher is a great idea, but NXT might not feature them correctly. Tag team division is questionable. Yes, it is MCW, but I also know that I know for a fact that Regal's a fan of both those guys because he came out here and scouted them. So I know he's a fan. So if Regal's kind of left to his own devices, if you will, I think that there could definitely be something there with Thatcher and Gulak. And again, that's all speculation on my end because I don't know if the people above Regal, Hunter, Vince, etc., see the potential in repairing Gulak and Timothy Thatcher. But I hope I'm wrong there. So, yeah, there you go. Anyway, put my banner back up here. I keep forgetting to put my banners back up because I'm just not paying attention to what I'm doing here. All right. Let's see, what else did I not plug yet while I'm thinking about it? Oh, of course. Tonight on the NoDQ.com channel, immediately following SmackDown over on Fox, you can catch Aaron Rift on his channel at Aaron Rift No DQ, and he'll have a full recap and review of tonight's SmackDown. So don't forget to stay tuned for that. After SmackDown's off the air on Fox, you can come over here to YouTube on Aaron Rift's channel at Aaron Rift No DQ and check out everything that you may have missed. Or if you just like to recap things, Aaron, because I know I'd love to hear Aaron's recaps about these shows. Check him out there at Aaron Rift No DQ, which you're watching. Let's see, right now we've got 13 of you watching on that channel. So come back here at 8 o'clock, kids, or 7 o'clock. Yeah, 7 o'clock. Right? No, 10 Eastern. 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific. I'm tired. I'll be on the road during it anyway, so I won't be able to see, unfortunately. I do have a thing to announce while I'm thinking about it. Well, the only graphic I have for it is this. So let me see if I can find a better one, which I can, of course, because life hates me. So we'll just go ahead and use this. Questions, very good. Okay, so you guys know that we have the Wrestling Trivia Challenge tournament coming up around the first of the year. If you guys missed the Greg Cherry show this week and you missed earlier announcements, there are people already in place. They haven't been announced by Greg because he won't tell me shit. But the participants are being gathered slowly but surely. Of course, the only match announced so far is myself versus David Diaz versus Chris Cass in triple threat. That's the number 1 seed because we're all former champions. So that'll be coming up again the first of the year, and I appreciate that. Also, don't forget next week, right here in this spot or close to it, probably be about 6. So actually, in this hour that we're in now, we'll be doing the dads, not always on wrestling. If I can, of course, I can't. Shit, I can't. It's a background, not a damn thing. So, here we go. Dad's coming up next week is going to be our top 10 Christmas movies. And then on Christmas Eve, we have a bonus show coming up. That'll be Christmas songs. Looking forward to all that. So, here we go. Elijah says, "Hey, Jeff, R.I.P. Tommy Lister, a.k.a. Zeus, a.k.a. Debo. But, Jeff, what matches do you what matches, Jiminy Christmas, what matches, damn, I can't read the hell he's saying here. I think he's trying to say that he wants a 4-way between Balor and Dunn and O'Reilly and Cross for the NXT Championship. He also wouldn't mind seeing Cross versus Damian Priest for the NXT Championship. Well, neither one of those guys are champion right now. The champion right now is Finn Balor. So let's keep that in mind also. He also says, "Hey, Jeff, are you watching the New Japan Super J Cup or Impact Final?" I will be watching Final Destination from Impact, not the Super J Cup as of now. The timing of the New Japan shows are just atrocious for me. I'm trying to get my sleep back on track, and it's not easy. I'll tell you that right now. As far as your NXT, that's stupid. You can go away for your stupidity. Thank you. As far as your NXT question, a fatal 4-way with Balor and Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly and Karrion Kross is a little bit heavy in there for me. Again, I'm not a fan of triple threats or fatal 4-ways. It's not. So I would say, if anything, you have Finn Balor against Karrion Kross, the man who was champion and had to vacate it without losing it. And then Pete Dunne versus Kyle O'Reilly 1-on-1 to build off what happened at War Games. And again, the Karrion Kross versus Damian Priest feud is not over. It just got restarted on Wednesday, so there's definitely money there. So if you have Kross and Damian the next takeover, then maybe you have Finn Balor take on either Pete Dunne or Kyle O'Reilly, or if you want a triple threat, I guess it's whatever works. So there. This guy experience says, "I'm at the gym listening to Jeff." Well, thank you. Get the pump on for me, because I could sure use a gym visit again. And be safe at the gym, brother, for sure. Not the safest of places, to be sure. Eric says, "If AEW can get CM Punk, how big of an impact on the business could it be?" It could mean a huge thing. People are kind of downplaying Punk's place in history right now because of his lack of appearances in the last 6 years, other than backstage. But I'm of the belief that if Punk were to return with AEW, with the crowd being there and all the noise that it would make and all the buzz it would generate for AEW and thus Impact, since they're partnered up, I think it's a good idea, and I think it'd be a huge impact for them. No pun intended, seriously. This guy experience says, "Do you think Kofi got screwed the way he lost title?" No. You have to remember something, guys. Kofi was a completely organic thing that they went with, much like somebody that went with Bryan. a few years ago. That was not supposed to happen with Kofi. It was just kind of fell in their lap at the very last minute there toward the beginning of this year. So they did it last year. Excuse me. It worked. It worked for a while, but they had to make a huge statement on the Fox premiere, and the huge statement was Cain Velasquez coming in at the very end of the show. And the fact of the matter is, Kofi Kingston losing to Brock as quick as he did made Brock look like a freaking juggernaut. And for Kane to come in against a juggernaut is exactly what they needed to have happen. Granted, the Cain Velasquez thing kind of fell flat on its face. I'm not going to deny that. But at the time they brought him in, it needed to be a huge thing, and Brock needed to be the champion, and Brock needed to look like a dominant killer. He did. He rolled Kofi up in about 5 seconds, whatever it was. So I was there live. I saw the whole thing. I felt the arena completely. What the hell? And that's what they needed for that moment on Fox. So I don't have a problem with it. I don't. MC says, what are your thoughts on Jim Cornette's views on wrestling? Cornette is nuts. And I'm probably going to get hate from the cult of Cornette, and that's fine. I think he's a freaking antiquated bonehead, and I think that he needs to just stop pretending stop overemphasizing his that goddamn word, just relevancy. Good grief. I kept saying reliability. I said he can't relate to anybody, but he is far overstating his relevancy in 2020 in professional wrestling. He just is. I don't think he's worth the attention that I'm giving him right now, even. So just no. Negative. End of story. Nope. Elijah says, Jeff, who are some tag team or singles guys you want to see in an Impact or AEW? I wouldn't mind seeing AOP in AEW with Paul Ellering, and Impact could sign Killer Kelly. She has star potential. I'm fine with all those. I mean, I think Paul with AOP was a WWE thing. I don't know where Paul stands right now as far as wrestling business goes. Excuse me, God, I'm really bad here. Anyway, so I don't see a reason why Paul would come back with AOP. I don't even know if AOP is a good gimmick for I mean, their gimmick itself was what it was, right? It just kind of was there. But I don't know if those guys are great. You know, they're great big men. So I'm not going to even try to front otherwise. But Killer Kelly also is a great talent. She definitely belongs somewhere, you know, wherever it may be. But I don't know if long term. Either the, I mean, again, is Killer Kelly damaged goods? No. Is AOP damaged goods? No. Is Paul Ellering with AOP? Yeah, a little bit. So I don't see if that's I don't think that's a good idea. Like, honestly. So just there's a lot of things that could happen in the next few weeks. We really have to just kind of wait and see what happens. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that. Hang on one second, guys. Tomorrow at loud thing there. Okay, Edwin. Edwin, like, okay, I'm not putting your question up because, like, I haven't seen it reported by a major news source. So you're gonna get getting timed out, and then you're gonna get blocked. So just stop. All right, just stop. Time out. Why can't I time this out? What's going on here? Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna worry about it. All right. So this guy Experience says, do you think they should do more quick surprises, title changes to make it more realistic like UFC and Bellator? No. Like, I've never been a fan of surprise title changes, quick title changes in wrestling happening all the time like that. I don't see the need for that. I don't see the need for it to be a thing. I don't know why people feel the need to what do you call it? Why is it showing me the new show? What the hell? That's not what I wanted to do at all. Jesus Christ. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Kind of a blitz there. All right, let's see. Yeah, I think long title runs actually I prefer those. I really do. I prefer long title runs because they just seem like, for me, the old school is better, and that's just my own personal opinion. Take it for what it's worth. I'm a fan of old school. I am a fan of keeping things simple. So, and long reigns are simple, in my opinion. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and ask this, even though I can't time him out now for some reason, which is really weird. But Edwin says, "What's your opinion on the Undertaker says to join the NXT team?" It's not happening. Other than the creative team, yes, I see that happening. He's talked about that. Vince has talked about that. Everybody's talked about that since Survivor Series. He's going to be in a creative team. But he's not going to wrestle. So if that's what you're talking about, that's crazy. MCW says, how would you rate Jon Moxley title run and thoughts? I thought it was good for what it was. I feel there could have been a lot better things done with it, but I feel he was a great AEW champion. The way it ended was definitely not what I intended or what I expected. But it was a oh my god moment, so it's kind of was the point, I guess, right? So there you go. There's kind of is what it is. So anyway, let me just get back to where I was. Whoops, not what I wanted to do. Oops. No, come on, go back. Go back. There we go. Forgive me, guys. I'm trying to time something out here. There we go. Okay. Okay. Richie or Ricky? I'm not sure what you're going for. I think it's Richie the Wolf. Do you like the idea of having Ciampa stay face and Gargano heel, or would you like to see Gargano turn face again and have Ciampa turn heel? I don't really give a shit what they do with either one of those two. Not that I don't care about these guys. I love both these guys, but I'm kind of over the whole make up your damn mind who's who, what's what. So okay, whatever. Chris says, if AEW can't create and build up homegrown superstars, how does fishing from other companies generate casual viewers, equating to real revenue to compete? Wow, that's a highly technical question. I don't know, because the formula worked at WCW to a point about bringing guys in, but they failed to create homegrown, like you just said, Chris. They do have a few people that are strictly AEW or strictly, being molded in AEW that weren't quite, brought to potential in WWE or in Impact or wherever. So, and plus you have the Impact talent coming in now as part of the partnership. So there's so much more, potential for good things from many different stars now with these companies being partnered up that, that's where the casual viewers are going, I remember seeing this guy, before, but there's also these kids, that, from both companies that I want to see that look interesting to me. Okay, so Chris, this guy experienced, corrected me. No, not like hot potato the belts, but similar to Kofi losing the belt and somewhat like D-Bry. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was okay with Brock. Not that it was Brock, but I was okay with the way Kofi lost the championship. I was totally okay with that. Yeah, so I'm totally okay with that, that kind of thing happening, but not on a consistent basis, and definitely not if it's not warranted. Like Brock Lesnar winning the championship back was warranted. Brian won the championship and had the WrestleMania moment because it was organic and it was what the fans wanted. And it was a great moment for everybody, by far. Marshall says, is MJF AEW homegrown? Yes, per se. I would say so. He's very much MLW guy or wherever. I forget where we came, but he is definitely a guy who has really kind of made his way known in AEW. Can't think of that. Yankee the Wolf says, does AEW remind you of WCW or the prime time of TNA more? People say AEW is WCW. I think people are making very unfair comparisons for both sides. It's like WCW because it's on Turner, and that's really where the similarities end. Yes, Tony Schiavone's there. Yes, a lot of people that were involved in the production side are there too. but it's a very different company. As far as the TNA Prime, yeah, remember, a lot of the guys from TNA Prime are now in WWE, and they're also in AEW. Let's not forget that. So the Bucks were in TNA 10 years ago, and now they're EVPs at AEW. Cody's been with both companies. So there's that. WWE and Impact Wrestling. So there's a lot of crossover stuff for sure. Darby Allin's definitely homegrown for sure. He made his fight in the Indies, but he's definitely an AEW project for sure. I would definitely agree with that. See ya. Take care of you. Okay. By the way, if that person pops up on Colin or Noah or Greg's channel feed, please block them. The name is Ashley Frazier. Okay? If that name pops up or something like that pops up in a comment room, please block them. Thank you. Idiot people. All right. I'm gonna go with this and see where my memory goes. Most embarrassing moment when you were in the business. Okay. I don't like talking about this very much, but I will answer the question. I'm not going to get too into it. 10 years ago, when I was working with a women's wrestling company, there was film documented of myself and the head of the company, my business partner, going over the women's championship match that was going to take place in the ring that night for our championship. Okay, there it is. There we go. All right. So I think I blocked it on both channels. I can block it on now. So go to it, guys. Make it happen. Anyway, the unfortunate part was we basically did the whole run through ourselves without asking the participants first, and that was my bad. And I being involved as long as I was at that point, 100% my bad. 100% my bad. And I'm sorry to this day for that happening. And I lost my job because of that in the company I was working for. I ended up going back later as a talent, doing play-by-play for a couple matches, but that was it. And I'm very embarrassed about it to this day. It was very unfortunate it happened that way, but kind of was what it was, right? So, yeah. So, hello, Kyle. I'm good. Thank you. Worst show I watched this week was not wrestling. I didn't have a problem with any wrestling shows this week. The show I watched this week that I had a problem with was the Disney Holiday Sing-Along. That was terrible. Like, it was way worse than I thought it was going to be. I watched it on demand on Disney Plus, and it was terrible. I'm pissed myself for watching it. I mean, really. All right. Again, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because we're almost at the bottom of the hour, and I wanted to try to get this done. I know I said 2 hours, but my voice is killing me, to be perfectly blunt with y'all. So, all right, don't forget, coming up at the bottom at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific, directly after Friday Night SmackDown on Fox, you can catch our buddy Aaron Rift over at on the No DQ channel here, which if you're not watching on the channel, it's youtube.com/Aaron Rift No DQ for the very latest on SmackDown review and the like. And let's see what else I can. Again, cheap plugs real quick. I'm going to get these out quickly as humanly possible, so bear with me here. Get rid of that so it's not in the way. My buddy Alexander the Red has a brand new photo set up. She looks great in a stunning red velvet dress, so check her out over at patreon.com/Alexander the Red. Check her out there. My buddy Laura at onlyfans.com/LauraSensFan. Our buddy Colin, whose channel we're on right now, don't forget that, at youtube.com/CleaverColinAndrew and nerdq.com/Colin. And my favorite Canadian and yours, Lisa, Angel Lisa Marie, too, over on Twitter. Don't forget to check her out. And we'll be back here, right here, on the Jeff Meacham Network Monday. Back on schedule, back on track. Talk Wrestling again will take the airwaves, so stay tuned for that. I greatly appreciate everybody being here today. I know it's Friday. I know it's a weird day. It's different. It's kind of off kilter, if you will. So I appreciate it. If you wanted to come into the green room, I'm sorry I'm bailing early, but I'm heightened. I height. So appreciate it, everybody. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys next time right here on the one and only, the flagship of the Jeff Meacham Network. This has been Talk Wrestling, everybody.